Hi, I'm Scott Hamilton, Rockfile, back with another podcast review, this time of the new movie, The Little Things. This is the second of Warner Brothers releasing a movie in theaters and at the same time on their HBO streaming service. And this is one I'm glad I watched on HBO Max. I would have been a little disappointed had I seen it at the theater. Not that it's a bad movie. It's definitely not a bad movie. You've got some great acting. You cannot go wrong with Denzel Washington ever, or Rami Malek, Jared Leto. I mean, you got a really great cast there. But you just expect a little more. It all comes together in something a little more cerebral than action-packed, and I'm usually okay with that. But it just kind of was underwhelming. And so The Little Things is an apt description. It's the little things that make the movie, like the acting. That the acting elevates this film to better than it has any right to be. John Lee Hancock wrote and directed this movie, and he actually wrote the screenplay back in the 90s, and that's when the movie takes place. It's got a decent soundtrack, decent cinematography. It just didn't blow us away. It's got a great hook at the beginning. It starts with a woman on a highway. She's stalked by a motorist. You don't know if she's going to get away or not. Then it cuts and we start meeting characters and we kind of figure out who Denzel Washington is and we figure out who Rami Malek is and then they start working together and then maybe Jared is a serial killer or maybe he's not. And in the end, well, you don't really know how it ends. I mean, it's kind of a slow burn movie that just doesn't really catch fire, if I can use a crazy analogy like that. Again, everybody that's in the movie is giving 110%. The director's doing a good job. It only had a $30 million budget, which I would think Denzel, to get those three big stars in it, that was probably a lot of the budget right there. Opening weekend, it made $7 million, which, you know, these days with the COVID stuff going on and everything, thank you, Archer, he thought that wasn't enough for a box office movie. But it knocked out Wonder Woman, which was like the only other new release that's in certain theaters. If theaters are open near you and you're going, I'd love to hear about it, because not a lot of people around here are. But again, if this is the kind of movie you're in the mood for, I recently reviewed Palmer and said it's almost a Lifetime movie, but it never goes that far. So if you're looking for that kind of movie without the schmaltz, go there. Well, this is kind of the same thing. This is kind of the movie you would expect to see at night on Netflix or some streaming service that you go, well, I don't have anything else to watch. I'm going to watch this. And you would be fine spending 2 hours with this film. But we sat down going, oh, yeah, the new Denzel, let's go. And I had already read some reviews that were kind of iffy on it, and it was okay. I just expected more out of it. It builds towards this giant twist that it doesn't really have. I think not that it needed a better ending, because again, as a package and as a story, it ends kind of the way it should, and it was well written and well produced, but it just doesn't amount to much. And you kind of wish it would, because you got Denzel Washington for the first time playing an older character who looks like this is the first time Denzel's really let himself look his age, older. He's a little overweight and he's let the hair go gray, and he looks older in this film. And then you see a picture of him from like 2 days ago, and it was a little bit of makeup and that kind of thing, but he still looks great at 66 or whatever he is now. But this was the first Denzel Washington role where really he let the age and the weight of his age kind of show on his face, and didn't play your typical peppy, even though he's laid back Denzel. He was definitely somebody who was world-worn and been on the planet a while and had some things happen in his past that he's trying to get past. And you find they give you a little bit of that as it goes along. But overall, Little Things is one that's hard to recommend, other than the fact that you know, it's free to watch if you're already subscribing to HBO Max. And it's a very familiar story that just doesn't, you know, it's not bad. It just doesn't. You want it to be like a 7. A lot of people, reviewers and everything, have been talking about 7, and I don't get that at all, because it's not like 7 was more procedural. We went from crime scene to crime scene, and it got worse and worse. And this is not like that at all. So I don't know where the 7 thing comes into it. It's definitely a character study. I wish they had given Rami Malek a little more to do. I wish it had a little bit more of a I don't know. I don't want to say exciting because I don't need an action ending with every type of movie like this, but it just needed something a little more at the end to keep that elevated from the performances and such. So again, it's free to stream on HBO Max if you're already a subscriber. So watch it. It's not a bad way to waste 2 hours, but it's not going to change your life, and it's pretty forgettable, and that's unfortunate given the three huge actors that are in this film. Was entertained, but it's probably not something I'd pull out Equalizer, watch that before I'd watch this again. I like Denzel, and I like action movies, but again, I will like a good serial killer story and a good detective procedural kind of if it's really well done. And this was just okay. It was just entertaining at best, and that was about it. So The Little Things, it's streaming now, and you can catch it in theaters for a little bit longer, too. I'm Scott Hamilton. I'm Rockfile. My website is therockfile.com. You get links to all my other goodies. Thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing, and listening. Thank you very much.